hold a couple more minutes.
Holy shit. All the people. Oh, thanks. That'd be great.
Yeah. Not happy about that.
If there are any patients in the room who would like to show their support by standing up here with us in front of the press, please come up and join us now. Thank you all. I am so proud of you. Thank you for being here.
Wow. This is amazing. Yep.
Could these little people get in front of me?
Absolutely.
I'm not playing in the wheelchair. Come on up. We're taking photos. I'm okay.
Good. How you doing there?
Okay. Good morning, everybody. I'm Henry Wojtkowski. I'm an attorney that represents Harborside Health Center. And I would like to begin by telling you what the program is going to be today. I am going to make some brief opening comments, and then Steve D'Angelo, the founder of Harborside, will make a statement. We will then have Dan Rush of the UFCW read a statement from Barbara Lee, who, because of other commitments, was not able to appear personally today. Alan Rapazzo of the Board of BOE will make a statement on behalf of that entity. Barbara Parker, the city attorney for Oakland, will make a statement. Rebecca Kaplan from the city council member of Oakland will then make a statement. And at that point, we will take questions from the press so that they may leave and return to their schedules, which they interrupted on short notice to assist us here today. After that, you will hear from a number of patients who come to Harborside for their medicine, including Jason David and Sue Taylor. We also have with us today representatives of Americans for Safe Access, and Don Duncan will make a statement on their behalf. And I saw Ron Mullins, but I don't know if he's going to say anything or not. Okay? Okay. We're here today to alert the public to the recent action by the Department of Justice in seeking forfeiture of the buildings where Harborside Health Center operates its medical cannabis dispensaries in Oakland and San Jose. Why that is wrong, and the consequences of this action if it is not abandoned. Harborside operates in compliance with state law. It provides medical marijuana to numerous needy and deserving patients. The Attorney General of the United States, whose quotes we brought but are now not visible because of the number of patients that wanted to appear and show their support today. The Attorney General testified recently, as he has in the past, that the Department of Justice's policy is to limit its enforcement efforts to dispensaries that are not in compliance with state law. Harborside is, was, and always will be in compliance with such laws. Harborside and its patients relied on these statements by the Attorney General, which have also been stated by the President, and the Department of Justice knows it. When the IRS wanted to audit Harborside Health Center, its agents came, we let them come in, we let them inspect the premises, we gave them a tour, and we allowed them to see all of our records, because Harborside runs a transparent operation. After reviewing everything that they wanted to see and closely examining the records, the Internal Revenue Service concluded that Harborside's books and records and the figures that were reported on its amended returns were all accurate. The only matter in dispute was the deductibility of certain business expenses under Internal Revenue Code Section 280E, and we are addressing that issue in the tax court. When confronted with the facts that Harborside is operating a legal business in compliance with state law and in accordance with the Attorney General's and the President's statements, the Department of Justice yesterday released a press statement conceding that Harborside was in compliance with state law and attempted to justify its action by calling Harborside a marijuana superstore, arguing that the larger the operation, the greater likelihood for abuse of the state's marijuana laws, and that medical marijuana would be placed in the hands of individuals who do not have a demonstrated medical need. They didn't allege any wrongdoing. They were alleging that Harborside was targeted because of its size, and that amounts to an abuse of discretion. First, nobody gets into Harborside without a state-approved recommendation from a licensed physician, which is verified, and the Department of Justice knows that. Second, it is Harborside's size that allows it to dispense marijuana exactly how the law intended. It is clean. It is well policed. It is able to provide quality products that are tested to ensure their quality to the patients who are its members. In addition to that, it provides numerous health and holistic services. Harborside is a model dispensary and should be allowed to remain open. We invite the U.S. Attorney, Belinda Haig, to come and tour our facility. We invite the Attorney General to come and tour our facility. And anybody else from the Department of Justice who would like to come, just let us know, and we will show you what we're doing. Now, in addressing this current misguided action, Harborside intends to rely on the judicial system and those within the Department of Justice with the integrity to honor the guidelines set forth by the Attorney General. And we hope that the Department of Justice does so also. There is no reason to kick down our door. We are proud of what we do, and we do it openly. Come up, ask us, and we will invite you in. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to first thank everybody who has turned out to show their support, the patients who are here, the elected officials who are here, representatives of activist and advocacy organizations. We really appreciate you coming to our support at this time of our need. We opened Harborside Health Center 6 years ago to demonstrate that cannabis could be distributed in a way that brings benefits to communities rather than harms. And since that time, our incredible staff has accomplished that goal and more. Today, Harborside is universally recognized as having set the gold standard for legal, legitimate, regulated distribution of medical cannabis. There is no legitimate reason to target Harborside Health Center. Amen. We do not. We do not fit into any of the categories outlined by the Department of Justice. We are not close to a school. We are not profiteers. And we are not out of compliance with state law. Now we are being told that we are targeted simply because we are too large. But the reason we have the largest number of patients is because we have provided the highest level of care and met a need that was desperately needed. Anybody who visits Harborside Health Center and sees the meticulous and careful way that we observe the laws of the state of California and the regulations of Oakland and care for our patients knows that any illusion or allegation that we are out of compliance with the law or doing anything wrong is completely absurd and ridiculous. No, this attack, if it's successful, is going to return many thousands of patients to the illegal market. Thank you. It's street drug sales and law enforcement costs in Oakland are immediately going to rise when $22 million worth of cannabis sales goes back onto the streets. Over $3 million worth of tax revenue is going to be destroyed. And in this time of joblessness, over 100 jobs, our incredible employees are now at risk of becoming jobless. Harborside has nothing to hide of. Harborside has nothing to hide and nothing to be ashamed of. We have no intention of closing our doors. We shall continue. We shall continue to provide our patients with the medicine that their doctors have recommended to them. We will contest the Department of Justice openly, in public, and through all legal means at our disposal. We look forward to our day in court and are confident that justice is on our side. We will never abandon our patients.
You're here.
We have no intention of closing our doors. We shall continue to provide this medicine. We know that when dispensaries close, it's the most vulnerable patients who suffer the most. Unable to find new sources, unable to navigate the dangers of the illegal marketplace, they will end up doubled over with nausea. They will end up writhing in pain in beds that they're too weak to rise from. They'll end up trapped in apartments, suffering from depression and anxiety so bad they can't bring themselves to leave anymore. We've seen firsthand how this medicine helps our patients. We cannot and will not walk away from our duty to help them. We intend to keep the commitment that we made 6 years ago, a commitment to provide the very best cannabis medicines in the safest and most legitimate way possible. We are going to keep that commitment as faithfully as we can, for as long as we can. And we are confident, when the history of these days is written, that our grandchildren will be proud to read of what we have done.
You're welcome, guys. It's standing room only in here.
We are now going to hear from my good friend Dan Rush from the UFCW, which has really been courageously defending our industry. He's going to read a statement from Congresswoman Barbara Lee in support of us. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Dan Rush. I'm the National Director of the Medical Cannabis and Hemp Division of the United Food and Commercial Workers International Union. UFCW is the industry union for medical cannabis, as well as other honorable occupations like meat cutting, agriculture, food processing, retail, textiles, and pharmacies. And we are the union of not just those traditional industries, but also the medical cannabis industry, which is predominantly retail, agriculture, food processing, and textiles. As long as we're here, we're going to defend Harborside, Steve D'Angelo, and other dignified and sincere, courageous people who are serving patients even at our own risk. I have here today a statement, and I'm proud to be here with you, Steve, as well as UFCW is proud to be here with Harborside. And I have to say, Harborside is not union yet.
But we're working on it.
But we're working on it. And I think we're all determined to get there. Whether Harborside was in trouble or not, union or not, we're here with you. Our members are here with you. I have a statement today from Congressmember Barbara Lee. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here today, so she asked me to come and read this. And she is a 30-year friend. She is my Congressmember. She does speak for me, especially when she casts the only lone vote to stop ugly wars, and when she stands up with us together with our patients, our workers, and our community. So this is Barbara's Congressmember's statement. As long as supporters of the right of patients to have safe and legal access to medicine that has been prescribed to them by doctors, I am concerned that the federal action related to Harborside Health Center, after the people of the state of California voted to make medical cannabis legal, thousands of businesses have invested millions of dollars in building their businesses and created good-paying jobs, paid millions in taxes. Today's action is nothing short of a tragedy for the 150 workers who may lose their good-paying jobs. I will continue to fight in Washington to advance legislation to provide certainty to our California businesses and patients, and to urge the administration to at least provide clarity they deserve. And that's from Congresswoman Barbara Lee. I just also want to say high revenues do not mean profiteering. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good morning, my name is Alan LaFosso, and I represent Board of Equalization member Betty Yee, who serves on the State Board of Equalization representing 21 counties that include the entire Bay Area. Hello everybody behind me. I do want to say it's an honor to stand among you. And Board Member Yee is in another part of the state, but she asked me to read this statement. I do want to clarify this is Board of Equalization member Yee speaking in her capacity as elected board member, and she does not speak for the entire board. But Board Member Yee asked me to read this. The issue for Californians regarding medical marijuana is the same as it was when voters approved Proposition 215 in 1996, offering a way for Californians in need of safe access to medical cannabis to get their medicine without having to commit a crime. California's medical cannabis dispensaries provide this service under existing law, adopted by the voters and clarified by the legislature. Any problems with California's emergent legal regime can only be solved by regulation and taxation under color of law, not by driving these businesses underground or forcing them to exist in a gray zone of legal uncertainty. Clearer, not murkier, regulation will make more Californians safer. Cannabis dispensaries, such as Harborside Health Center, operating legally under California law, are not the drug traffickers. They are legitimate businesses operating under color of California state law and local Oakland ordinances. This latest federal action against Harborside is counterproductive as it relates to providing safe access to medical cannabis patients. In fact, this federal crackdown on every type of business that assists medicinal marijuana patients, from dispensaries to advertisers, landlords, bankers, etc., does nothing to advance the goal of effective, rational regulation of medical marijuana. The federal government is attacking the resources any provider would need for patient safety, professional standards, and compliance with the law. California's 4 United States attorneys, in numerous public statements, have indicated their actions are aimed at, quote, large-scale drug traffickers, close quote, and, quote, not prosecuting seriously sick people and those who are caring for them, close quote. Harborside is one of those caring for patients in need. As many of these dispensaries struggle to operate under the cloud of federal limits, they contribute over $100 million in state sales tax revenues, in addition to substantial revenues to local governments. Moreover, these businesses are good citizens, providing living wage jobs, health insurance, donations to low-income patients, free services such as yoga classes, acupuncture, or chiropractic care, and other charitable activities. This federal crackdown of dispensaries who serve patients will eliminate safe access and drive the people who serve patients back underground where they pay no taxes, abide by no regulations, and provide lower quality products with more danger to patients. It's time for the federal government at the highest level to put a stop to harassing legitimate businesses such as Harborside Health Center. Thank you. I'll have some copies in the back for the media. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Commissioner Yee, for your support and your statement. We're now going to hear from City Council person Rebecca Kaplan, one of our longtime and most steadfast supporters.
Good morning, and good morning to all of the patients and all of the advocates and all of our allies from labor and from the community, and good morning to all of you. My name is Rebecca Kaplan, and I have the distinct honor to represent all the people of Oakland on the Oakland City Council. This is a city of justice and compassion, and this is a city that understands that we need good jobs at living wages, that understands that we need the tax revenues to provide the basic services, and that we need to be compassionate to the patients. Even those who are not medical cannabis patients and are not involved in this issue understand that we cannot afford the money, we cannot afford the waste of law enforcement resources, and we cannot afford the loss of jobs that these types of attacks entail. One might think there was no crime left in America, that there are extra hardcore federal law enforcement resources available to do nothing but go after these non-threatening people. And very sadly, it's not true that there's no crime left in America. And it's not true that there's no crime left in Oakland. We desperately need help going after the illegal gun dealers. The illegal guns are being shipped interstate into Oakland from other jurisdictions. That is something that does need federal intervention. The guns aren't manufactured in Oakland, the gun stores aren't in Oakland. To stop the shootings, we need to stop the flow of illegal guns into our city. That is an interstate issue. That is a federal issue. That is a public service. time that is available, any federal prosecutors, any federal agents who have time to work on something that causes no threat to public safety, please, we need those resources devoted to stopping the shootings, stopping the violence, and stopping the killing. That should be everyone's clear priority. And that is something upon which my constituents feel very, very strongly. Now, we also have the fact that one of our licensed local businesses is being maligned and attacked. Harborside Health Center operates in compliance with the law, and they pay their taxes, and they employ people properly, and they keep their premises clean, and they don't cause crime, and they don't cause violence. And so we need to get clear about what our priorities are and what it takes to have a community where we keep people safe and where we use our resources the way they're needed. And, you know, it's an interesting question. How should law enforcement figure out where to target? I mean, after all, there have been some cities that have complained about out-of-control, unlicensed dispensaries. Is the federal government going to now come out with standards? You know, they have to be more than a certain size, but less than a certain size, and painted a particular color. The easiest way to know which ones are causing problems is to ask the local officials. In Los Angeles and San Diego, there are unpermitted dispensaries running amok, and the local city officials are trying to shut them down, but don't have the resources. If there are federal agents who what they work on is cannabis dispensaries, please, all we need from the federal government is that you check with the local officials to know which ones are causing trouble and which ones aren't. That would solve all the problems. The cities that have ones that are causing trouble could get help dealing with them, and they would know how to not target law-abiding, responsible businesses and facilities and nonprofits in our communities. This is also an issue of democracy. And as the elected representative representing the entire city of Oakland, our city voted to authorize medical cannabis by over 80% of the vote. Yeah. That was a ballot measure that passed statewide in the state of California and is the law of the land, a duly enacted law of the state of California. So besides good use of law enforcement resources and besides compassion, this is also about democracy. And I'm honored to stand up for the fact that this is the law here, and we need to have an effective, regulated way that we enforce the law that was passed by the voters of California. That's what cities can do and have begun to do throughout California. And if we work together, we absolutely can devote the law enforcement resources where they're needed and enable reasonable regulation and the ability to provide compassionate service to the patients in need. Thank you for doing that, and thank you for being that voice. And thank you so much to all of our allies who are part of this today. Good morning. Good morning.
Where's the mayor?
Are there any other elected officials who would like to make a statement? In that case, we're going to have two brief statements from patients of Harborside Health Center who would be affected should we be closed, and then we will open it up to questions from the press.
No, Gene Kwan.
Sorry. First is Jason David, who will speak. Some of you may have seen Jason and his son Jaden featured on episode 3 of Weed Wars. We're happy to report that Jason, as you'll hear from his father, is doing much, much better.
This is coming from a father that loves his son. I don't know how else to tell you this, but this is what saved my son's life. My son had a seizure every single day for the last 4.5 years of his life. The first time I ever gave him medical cannabis was the first time he ever went seizure-free in his life. Can you imagine your kids having seizures every single day, being in pain 12 to 14 hours a day, crying, screaming? My son's tried 12 different medications from around the world, 2 that weren't FDA approved, and they didn't work. They just caused more problems. My son's taken 25,000 pills and he's 5 years old. That's ridiculous. Seeing my son suffer like this, not get to enjoy life. I've been to birthday parties seeing my son not have fun while other kids are having fun. I'm running to the ambulance or calling 911, seeing my son suffer. Well, things have changed since I started using medical cannabis. I got him down from 22 pills a day down to 4 right now. He's functioning better. I have documentation. I have video evidence of him changing as a human being. His eye contact's getting better. I get emails from his teachers telling me how good he's doing and what they're seeing the difference, comprehending. I wish my son could say I love you. That's my true goal. But right now I'm happy with him. When he looks in my eyes and I tell him, give me a kiss, he could give me a kiss now. Can you imagine your kid not giving you a kiss? I've been blessed. God's shown me the way. This is a plant. It even says in the Bible, and I am a Christian, Genesis 1:29 and 1:30, use my plant, use my seed. And it's been working fantastic for my son. It's changed his life. From being in an ambulance 45 times, he hasn't been in an ambulance since I started CBD. Last April and May, I was losing it myself. I didn't know how I could see my son suffer like that every day. Thank God. God gave me cannabis to help my son. Please, Miss Hag, have some compassion. Don't let me lose my son. Please, Obama, Mitt Romney, whoever you guys are out there, we need your help. I love my son. Just got a couple more things to say. I've been to 50 different dispensaries all over California, looking for help for my son. The only person that knew what they're talking about, that knows the different things of the test and percentages, and it's all about the science. And to save my son's life, we've done a lot of trial and error till we figured out what's helping him out. There's other children that are on it. I get emails from across the world. I've got emails from Australia, Israel, Japan, every country you can think of, asking for hope, for help, because they're suffering. Seeing your kids suffer every single day is the worst thing in your life. There's nothing worse than that. I wish I could take away the pain. At least I'm taking away some of it. My son's happy now. He gets to swim. He used to look at a swimming pool and have a seizure. Now he can swim for 2 hours. What a difference in life. Not just that, the whole family feels better. We do have hope. Before no one had hope, and now other parents are getting on it, and all the kids are doing better. With Harborside, not just are they compassionate, they know what they're talking about. This is a real medical marijuana facility. Like the other lady was saying earlier about the ones in LA. I've been to the ones in LA. They have no idea what they're talking about. And I'm being serious, because I walked in there and I'm very educated about this because I'm trying to save my son's life. And they have no idea what they're talking about. When I go here, we work together to learn and understand what can we do to help things better. And being compassionate, I mean, thank God for them. If it wasn't for them, I'd be in an insane asylum. I don't know if I would even have my son right now. So thank God for Harborside, Stephen, Andrew, and please, one more time, Obama, if you're hearing this, Mitt Romney, I don't know who it is out there, please help us. Don't let us suffer. Don't let the kids suffer. Thank you very much.
This is one of the reasons, one of the many thousands of reasons that we will never abandon our patients. We're going to have a short statement from Sue Taylor, and then we're going to open it up for questions.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Sue Taylor, and I'm a patient at Harborside Health Center. I'm also a wellness and health advocate. I also do senior outreach for alternative medicines. I'm also on the Commission for Aging for Alameda County. And I stand before you here today to tell you if Harborside Health Center closes, it's a direct insult to seniors. Amen. It's a direct insult to seniors as well as our veterans. Harborside Health Center has answered the pharmaceutical drug option. They provide holistic services and holistic medicines to seniors. I can get out of bed. I can work. I'm not only speaking for myself, I'm speaking for every other senior that can't be here. We're the forgotten ones. Harborside Health Center has not forgotten about the seniors. About the seniors. You must look at what's really going on here. It's about health and wellness. We're messing with the pharmaceutical drugs money. Health and wellness is provided. Total health. They not only dispense the medicine, they have an array of holistic services for us that are free. They have counseling, they have educational classes. If I go to Stephen and say, you know, the seniors need this, it's in the place. They are about, that's what they're about, health and wellness for all of us. If they are allowed to close, what will I tell my grandchildren? What would I tell my 3 sons that were raised here in Oakland? That democracy does not work? This was voted on. Whether you use the cannabis or not, it's your level of integrity that's at stake here. They voted on it, they applied, they responded. The staff at Harborside Health Center responded to the voters and created a state-of-the-art facility. They did everything just right. If they fail, we fail. We fail. The seniors, the baby boomers, they're attacking us on TV. They're trying to push every pharmaceutical drug down our throat. Right. We have to be smart enough to say that's not for me, and only the health goes in my body. Nobody tells me what to put in my body. I am healthy. I don't take pills. That's what Harborside Health Center will provide for those of you who think outside of the box. And trust me, all of you will come my way. All of you. If you take a stand now, it might be too late. It might be too late. They don't fail if they close it. We fail. So thank you very much.
Thanks for your patience. We're going to open it up for questions now.
Steve, what is federal asset forfeiture? And the second part of the question is, why do you think the government is doing this? Is this politics?
Let me take the second part of your question first, and then I will let my attorney, Henry Wykowski, answer the first part. I think that the reason that the government is doing this now is because Oakland and other jurisdictions that have regulated medical cannabis have created a real alternative to the failed policies of the drug war. Instead of spending billions and billions of dollars to enrich criminal cartels, what we have done is we've created a system of regulated cannabis distribution that has taken patients out of the hands of the criminal marketplace, that has deprived street gangs and cartels of hundreds of millions of dollars, that has created hundreds of millions of dollars in tax revenue, that has increased the safety of our neighborhoods and lowered our law enforcement costs. These benefits stand in stark contrast to the failed policies still pursued by the U.S. attorneys.
And what is this asset forfeiture? What does it mean for your organization?
Well, federal asset forfeiture is a mechanism by which the government is allowed to seize and take assets that are used in the conduct of illegal activity.
Can you address the action is targeting the property owner, correct?
That is correct.
So what kind of communication have you had with the property owner? And we don't know much about that, but you're really not targeted, it's the owner that's targeted, correct?
Well, but it's the premises from which Harborside operates, and they didn't want it, the goal wasn't to go after the owner, the goal was to go after Harborside. And I've been in discussions with their attorneys. They were served just, I believe, yesterday with the forfeiture action, and they're studying it. We're going to talk later today.
Can somebody talk about the possibility of this being a smack in the face to the pharmaceutical companies, which I think the sister had mentioned, that this may be a problem, and this may be one of the reasons that we see some of the attacks coming up.
Heck yeah, there isn't a lot of money.
So, I mean, if somebody can
And I can
answer.
speak to that, sure. You know, every day we hear from patients like Sue Taylor, like Jason David, who tell us stories of having been able to greatly reduce, in some cases totally eliminate their dependence on more dangerous, more expensive, less effective pharmaceutical drugs. So we know that cannabis is a real wellness alternative to more expensive and dangerous pharmaceuticals. I would not be surprised if the pharmaceutical companies have figured that out by now, and I would also not be surprised if they felt threatened by what's going on. In fact, we heard that there was a bank in Colorado, I believe it was a bank in Colorado, that had intended to provide services to the cannabis industry, which decided not to after hearing from some of their pharmaceutical clients that they wouldn't approve of it. So I think there's some basis for that fear.
Can you elaborate on the impacts on Oakland if Harborside were to close, and maybe Rebecca, you can speak to that, or both of you, and as specific as you can be about the amount of tax money that has come to Oakland's coffers from Harborside, you know, over time and where it goes?
Certainly. The annual tax revenue to Oakland is in the neighborhood of $1 million a year, and $1 million a year is 3 times the amount of money we needed to find in last week's budget negotiations to reopen our senior centers. We had to struggle over $300,000, we did find it in the end, to reopen the senior centers, but the amount of money we would lose is triple that amount that we just had to dig around to find to save our senior centers. That amount of money would mean less police walking a beat. And let me say something about law enforcement. None of this is the fault of individual law enforcement officers. And certainly Oakland police were not in any way part of this. But even at the federal level, it's not the fault of the individual enforcement officers. This is a policy that has to change at the leadership level. And so I am aware that the law enforcement officers themselves are very hardworking people, and you know, they are not to blame for this. This needs to change at the policy level. The other thing I would say about local impacts is this involves jobs, and we certainly are doing everything we can in Oakland at many levels, far beyond medical cannabis, to increase jobs in our community, and we don't want to see anything happen that would reduce the jobs in our community.
One more just quick follow-up. Elise had said that Harborside is the #2 retail taxpayer in the city. Who's #1?
Oh, you know, I didn't bring that with me.
Well, I think that's probably a automobile dealer, but that information hasn't been given to us. Just one slight correction. I think Rebecca was a little behind the curve on
that was the
on
last
tax
year's
rate, the last year. So we pay 5% of our gross revenues in taxes directly to the city of Oakland. Our gross revenues last year were $22 million, and so Harborside alone contributed $1.1 million to the budget of Oakland. In sales taxes, we pay approximately more or less 10% in sales taxes to the state of California.
She's a city council member.
$2.2 million, which went to the state of California. Lesser amounts went in income tax to the federal government and to the state of California. Being a nonprofit community service organization, we do not have a great deal of income to tax. But cumulatively, our tax contribution came up to somewhere beyond $3.5 million last year. Beyond that, you have to consider all of the withholding taxes that are contributed by our 100+ employees. We're talking about a great deal of money that's going to be removed from the tax base here in Oakland. And where is that money going to go? It's going to go directly into the hands of street gangs and cartels and criminals, and it's going to cause even more problems and raise more costs. This is a crazy policy that has no upsides. Whoever thought of it must be smoking something a lot stronger than
I just want to go a little bit into the war on drugs that's pretty much been happening a long time, especially with marijuana being a big issue in Oakland. People of color have been pretty much targeted by the war on drugs. You know, marijuana is a big issue that comes in our communities, and police are targeting us in a major way. You know, Harborside, I enjoy what you guys are doing. I'm all for medical marijuana. You know, when you talk about us gangsters, us thugs, us criminals, guess what? That was a way of me making a living. That was a way for me to survive in this community. You know, I'm not legalizing any kind of drug dealing. Let me make that be clear. I am an ex-drug dealer that sold crack cocaine on abundance. Okay? Today I come under another view with the legalization of marijuana. Yes, it's going to have a tremendous impact within the black market community. Let's be straight up. Let's not be bullshitting one another. You know what I'm saying? Let's not bullshit one another. All y'all are going to probably be fucking scared to cross the fucking street because of a fucking ticket. But us in our fucking community in Oakland, we face a major issue to war on drugs.
Thank you.
How can we address those issues when it comes to like when you have 70% of our black people of color under some type of probation or parole in Oakland? In Oakland.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. No, it is absolutely true. One of the horrific side effects of the war on drugs has been a dramatic degree of racial injustice. And it is absolutely clear that the war that Richard Nixon launched in 1972, which we are still fighting, we are still fighting a war that Richard Nixon launched in 1972. And if for 40 years America had been incarcerating white people at the same percentage that America has been incarcerating African Americans and people of color, there is no way the public would have stood for that policy staying in place.
One easy practical question. You have two dispensaries, so we haven't talked about San Jose.
San Jose was also, we also found a similar notice taped to the door of our San Jose location.
So how many people work there and what is their tax contributions?
You know, cumulatively we have somewhere between 125.
It was pretty powerful, babe.
Between the two locations. And sorry, other questions about San Jose?
What's the San Jose tax?
Well, San Jose is in the city of course, it's in the city of San Jose, which has a cannabis tax of 7%. So we learned that despite the fact that there are 100+ dispensaries in the city of San Jose, that Harborside's tax payments accounted for 10% of the total received by the city. Another indication of the integrity exhibited by Harborside Health Center, and no matter where we're located, we always pay our fair share of the taxes and report our income honestly.
Do you know the figures are for San Jose and
it was $350,000 in taxes for the first year of the tax, which was last year. I don't believe that was a complete year, however.
And do you fear that if places that have gotten these letters and have not closed down tended to be raided? So are you fearful of a raid, and if so, what are your preparations for such an event?
Actually, this is different. Our landlord didn't get a letter. The landlord was served with a forfeiture action that had already been filed. Of course, we're concerned that we would be raided, and that's why we want to say publicly, we have nothing to hide. There is no reason to kick down our doors. You let us know when you want to come, and it will be arranged. When the IRS wanted to come in, we let them. We gave them a tour. We let them see everything they wanted to see, and we will do the same for anybody else. And I invite Melinda Haig, the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District, and any other member of the Department of Justice who wants to come and visit Harborside and tour our facility to get in touch with us, and we will let you do that.
How long is it going to take for them to carry this action through, and how are you resisting?
Captain, I still don't believe my question was answered.
It's completely unclear at this point.
Fuck you, man. I don't believe my question was answered.
It's completely impossible for us to judge that at this point. I think that the complaint was just received by the property owners, and so their attorneys are going to be evaluating what the next course of action is. We believe that we are an interested party in this case. We believe that our patients are interested parties in this case, and we hope that we will get our day in court. We are confident that justice is on our side. We look forward to an opportunity to present our case.
What kind of legal actions are you going to take?
We don't know. It's really going to depend on what legal actions the Justice Department and our property owners owners take.
Y'all gonna defend the people of color communities that get arrested for those cases.
Was there a date attached to this? At a certain time that this will take place?
Like a court hearing or something?
A date, there is a requirement to respond to the complaint within 20 days, I believe.
If there are certain requirements that are within the law, the forfeiture action had the first court appearance was in October for both of the forfeitures. One I think was October 11th, and the other was October 16th.
Can you talk about more about next steps? So what are you guys going to do? Are you just waiting the 20 days? And when you talk about closing your doors, that possibility, when would that be in danger of actually legitimately happening?
We have not decided what action we're going to take, but keep in mind that the forfeiture action is directed to the property, and we are not the property owners. We are merely the people that have leased the premises.
Who are the property owners?
Is there somebody who can speak for them?
I think that they're still in the process of evaluating what's going on. They just got served, I believe, a matter of hours ago, less than a day ago they got served. So I think they're still evaluating what's going on. As to the possibility of us closing, we have no intention of closing. We will resist this action with every legal means at our disposal. And should we be forced from our present location, we will find alternate means of providing medicine to our patients who need it. We will never abandon our patients. We will never abandon people like this.
So the government...
Do you feel like you have the support of your landlord? I mean, do you feel like your landlord at this point is saying, we're not going to kick you out, we're not going to...
I think my landlord is in an impossible and very, very, very difficult position, where on the one hand, she has faithfully obeyed the laws of the state of California, which actually controls landlord-tenant matters. She's faithfully obeyed the regulations of the city of Oakland. And now, after the Justice Department several years ago said that if operators were in compliance with state law, no action would be taken, they are coming after her. I think it's a huge setup for her and for all property owners who are in this situation. The Justice Department said several years ago, the president promised on the campaign trail that federal resources would not be used in this way. And believing the Justice Department, believing the president, these leases and arrangements have been executed, and I think it puts property owners in a very difficult position.
How long is your lease, and how difficult do you think it would be to find another property like this one here?
Well, our lease is a 5-year lease with 2 extensions, so basically 15 years, and it was signed not long ago. In terms of another location, well, you know, the problem is that no allegation of wrongdoing has been made to Harborside. There's been no allegation that we are located improperly or that we're too close to a school. So my assumption is that we have just simply done too good a job, that we have been too visible, that we've received too much attention, and we are not going to stop doing that. We are the largest dispensary because we provided the highest level of care, such that patients have not been able to find elsewhere.
What would be a real resolution to this problem? Who needs to do something about this thing?
I think it's entirely within the discretion of the U.S. Attorney. She is deciding who to target in this campaign and who not to target. And I would note that when Melinda Haig and the other 3 U.S. attorneys from California announced the commencement of this campaign last October, they said that they were going after profiteers and criminals who were using the medical cannabis laws as a shield for that kind of activity. In fact, their list of targets reads like an honor roll of the most legitimate, legal, regulated operators in the entire industry. People like Matt Cohen, people like Berkeley Patients Group from Berkeley, and of course, so, you know, it's not like there isn't abuse going on in the medical cannabis system in California. There is abuse, mainly in the unregulated areas. But that's not who the U.S. attorneys are going after. They are going after the leaders of the legitimate industry. Why? Because their real target is not crime in this case. Their real target is the positive example of regulated cannabis distribution that we've created. The real target, the real reason they're coming after Harborside Self Center is that we have succeeded all too well in what we set out to do, to prove to the world that cannabis can be distributed in a way that brings benefits to communities and not harms, and that terrifies the U.S. Attorney.
Yeah. In October, those are during things, is that right? Can you give us the timeline?
Well, the forfeiture action itself has a couple different times to respond. The earliest being 20 days, and then an answer pleading in 35 days. What I told you was going to happen in October is that's the first court date. It's the first appearance before the judge who's been assigned to the case to determine the status of the case and how it will proceed from there. At that hearing, they usually set timelines for the case to move along, so until that hearing occurs, we don't have any other timelines.
Is there it's a civil action, right? So is there a process for, I don't know if you want to do this, but is there a process for you to join the case? Because who's going to speak for you otherwise?
Well, since we just were served with this on Tuesday, we haven't decided on our complete legal strategy, and I don't think it's appropriate to speculate as to what we may or may not do.
And they could
we will follow the law.
They could seize the facility, is that the idea? Seize the building?
Well, after the process is over.
Potentially.
Yeah, potentially, yes.
Jason, a quick question. What is your son's medical challenge? What does he have?
My son has Dravet syndrome. It's Dravet syndrome. There's only approximately 800 people in the world that have known cases of it. It's a sodium channel in the brain that doesn't distribute sodium correctly. Every parent that's out there, we're in different support groups, and every parent out there is desperate, and they're looking for a solution. Nothing's been working. Kids, every day, if you look on the support group, every day there's a kid in the hospital. If not, I'd say at least 2 or 3 a year pass away.
Thanks.
And was that Dravet, D-R-A? I'm sorry, D-R-A-V-E-T. Dravet.
And how do you spell Jaden?
Jaden, J-A-Y-D-E-N.
And how do you spell your full name, if you don't mind?
Jason David. J-A-S-O-N, last name D-A-V-I-D.
How old is Jaden?
Jaden is 5.5 now. But last year, right before I went to Harborside, I really thought I was going to lose him. I mean, I had videotapes of him ODing from the medications he was taking, 12 to 14 hours a day in pain. I have all the proof. I mean, not just that, I have all the different emails from his teachers and different stuff, all on here. If you guys want to see the difference of life, of what my son's life has changed, from suffering and pain to being happy and enjoying life and getting to be a kid again, it's right here.
One more thing. You said you use CBD. Is it the high CBD?
It's not high CBD. It's not just high CBD. There's much more to it to that. And they've been helping me out with that. It's all about the ratio of the CBD, not THC. It's CBD. And the only person I've been all over California that can help us out is Harborside.
I can speak to CBD. CBD, like THC, is one of the cannabinoids found in the plant. Unlike THC, it's completely non-psychoactive, but has very profound medical effects, including being very effective for epilepsy. Harborside, being the first place anywhere that tested mass amounts of cannabis, found that several years ago when we tested about 2,000 samples of cannabis in our first round of testing, that there were only about 10 strains of cannabis that had appreciable quantities of CBD in them. And so we initiated a project CBD, to increase the amount of CBD medicine that was available by providing our most trusted growers with the genetic material, with CBD-rich genetic material, and then making it into medicines that would be appropriate. In the case of Jaden, of course, we don't want to give him a smoked form of cannabis, so we took the CBD-rich material that was infused in glycerin, so we made a glycerin tincture as opposed to an alcohol tincture, which is typically used. And as Jason indicated, the important thing is that you have a high ratio of CBD relative to the amount of THC that is in the medicine, especially for children for all of the obvious reasons. So, this has not been an easy project. It has not been an inexpensive project. It is a project that we've been able to undertake by virtue of our size, and is an excellent example of the type of irreplaceable service that Harborside provides, which will be completely lost if we are taken very close.
Are you concerned that the feds may raid Harborside before the October hearing?
Sure. I've been concerned that the feds might raid Harborside from the day that we opened. But we've seen what this medicine can do. And I was raised that if you see someone who's suffering,
of course, the media is all packing up now,
ability to help that person, that it's a sin to walk away from them. And so despite the risk, we will continue to do what we've always done. Yes, I never know when I go to work in the morning whether I'm coming home at night or whether I'm going to prison in handcuffs. And it's not an easy way to live, but the mission that we're on, I think, is a worthwhile one. And we hope, we are committed to addressing all of these questions openly, in public, in court, and we hope that the Department of Justice and U.S. Attorney Haig will allow this process to take its course without interrupting it by raiding Harborside. We are not afraid of the process, and we hope that the Department of Justice isn't either. So I'm happy to report we just have a statement from our city attorney here in Oakland, City Attorney Barbara J. Parker, press statement for immediate release July 12, 2012, Oakland, California. Oakland City Attorney Barbara J. Parker, a former Assistant U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of California, issued the following statement today regarding federal actions against permitted medical cannabis businesses in Oakland. 15 years ago, Californians voted to decriminalize medical cannabis in California. Oakland's regulations and permitting requirements make it possible for patients to access safe, affordable medical cannabis to alleviate their pain and suffering. I am deeply dismayed that the federal government would seek to deprive Californians of this vital medicine. And these actions will force patients back into the underground market of street corners and back alleys, undermining public safety and endangering their health and lives. As Oakland City Attorney and a former Assistant U.S. Attorney, I strongly oppose federal actions against members of Oakland's business community who are complying with California and Oakland laws and regulations and paying their fair share of taxes. I call on the U.S. Attorney to allow California and municipalities like Oakland to continue to protect the health and welfare of patients who qualify for medical cannabis under Proposition 215. I ask that the federal government focus its scarce resources on the real crisis in Oakland, violent crime and illegal guns that are snuffing out the lives of so many. In the midst of this crisis, it is a tragic waste for the federal government to spend its time and money cracking down on legitimate health care providers. And on behalf of all our patients, I'd like to thank the city attorney and all of the elected officials from Oakland for their statements of support. Okay, any other questions?
Can we hear from the doctor for a sec?
Just one moment.
Go ahead. You want
okay. Any members of the press have any other questions? Okay. All right. So yes, we can open it up and hear from the doctor. He's got a great story, and from other members of our patients. So if there's anybody here who would like to hear a bit of this, I think we have the room for 10 more minutes or something.
We don't technically know, but it's fine. It should be fine.
Okay, all right, okay. So actually, it seems like we're going to need to wrap, so we're going to keep it very close. But Dr. Allen does have an interesting story, so if you'd like to hear that, why don't you tell your story?
I have an interesting story, but what's more interesting is these people are trying to be compliant with the law, and the truth is they don't want your compliance with the law. They want to snuff out this, and the truth is they're denying our right to vote democratically. We voted for this democratically, and this is a federal intrusion on our right to vote. The other thing I'd like to say is we're on the precipice of a complete change in medicine as we know it. We're finding out about the endocannabinoid system, which is a control mechanism that controls all physiology. And to say it's not medicine is not only a lie, it's the worst lie that's ever been told in human history. And it's time to stop the drug war. It's time to stop calling people like me and Steve and other people like this criminals, because we are not criminals. We know we're right, and we're going to stop this war one way or another.
Unless there's any other elected officials, statements, and anything come in at the last minute, then thank you everybody for showing up. Thanks so much for the support and the interest.
So that's it, you guys. That is the end of the press conference for Harborside Health Center. If you guys missed the beginning or anything, you can check the archive. I'm going to shut the stream down now because it's crazy crowded in here. So thanks to you guys for watching, and check out the archive footage if you have any questions. Thank you.